Hello, sisters and brothers. Welcome to the Capuchin JPIC Institute of Life video series. And today we will reflect a little bit on interreligious dialogue. And the title of this reflection is a little bit controversial, but that's what JPICs are known for. We tend to rock the boat. We tend to ask questions that trigger the mind, the heart, and the spirit to reflect further on life. So let us now begin with this reflection. The title of the reflection is Let Us Go to the Peripheries, not as missionaries, but as pilgrims in search of an encounter with the divine. Okay, so we will start with two quotes. The first one is from a quote from Ramakrishna. He said, "God can be reached by different religions. Many rivers flow by many ways, but they fall into the sea. They all are one." So from this passage we could see the many religions throughout the world, especially those little religions that are slowly disappearing because they are being changed, or some things are being imposed on them, and these religions are like little rivers, little streams, and they all lead towards the sea, which is the divine. And then there's another quote, Mahatma Gandhi. "For me, the different religions are beautiful flowers from the same garden, or they are branches of the same majestic tree." So the majestic tree is the divine, and this image of the tree shows us that all of us are interconnected. All religions lead to the main trunk of the tree and to the roots. We are all interconnected, and the dialogue, actually, when you look at it, the dialogue starts from God. The reason why there are so many religions is because these are the different ways that people try to respond to the touches of the divine. Now, we start with the reading of the reflection, and hopefully we can learn some thoughts here. I sometimes wonder why we go to the peripheries. I've been going to the peripheries for more than 11 years already, and I still keep going back. So, why do we go to the peripheries? Is it because we want to bring God to the world? But then, God is everywhere, is He not? He is already there, the peripheries, even before we arrived. Our general notion, which for me personally, is a delusion or misconception. You can beg to disagree. Okay. So our general notion, which for me is a delusion or misconception, is that the people in the peripheries need to discover God. But these same people are often much closer to God than we had ever been. They see God in the bosom of Mother Earth. They feel Him in their hearts. They walk with Him, or they feel God walk with them in the daily struggles that they have in their life. They hear Him in the breeze that whistles through the leaves of the forest. They see the image of God in the beauty of nature. They appreciate His providence in the veins of the rivers and the streams that provide them water and sustenance. We call ourselves missionaries. We often give ourselves, or assign to ourselves, the task of converting the world. But I would like to beg to disagree, or I beg to disagree. I would rather we call ourselves as pilgrims, people who are in search of an encounter with the divine, in search of an encounter with God. I would rather prefer that we go to the peripheries, not to change or teach the world, but in order to allow God to teach us and to change us through the encounter with other peoples and with other faiths in the world. I would rather prefer that we go to the peripheries to celebrate with other people the joy of experiencing God in many ways. I would rather prefer that we share with others and let others share with us the experience we have in loving and being loved by the divine. I would rather prefer that we share the different paths that God reveals to us so that we can meet Him in His dwelling place within us. We have placed into extinction and condemned as unsafe many sacred paths that lead to God, just because we have not experienced traveling through these paths in order to meet the divine. God has different ways of reaching out to us, and it is different because we are in different areas, we are in different places, and we also have different cultures, we also have different personal experiences. And so God meets us in very unique ways. Hence the different religions that we have. God always searches for us and reaches to us in a personal way. Like for example, if we would like to look at verse 14 of chapter 2 in the Song of Songs, it's quite very beautiful, sort of a beautiful way of painting that experience with God. It says here, "My dove in the clefts of the rock, in the secret recesses of the cliff, let me see your face, let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely." God reaches out to the souls, even to the most far-flung places. God is there reaching out to us, reaching out in dialogue with our hearts, with our souls, with our being. God seeks for us, searches for us, and because of that, we respond to Him in many unique ways. We need to respect the different paths to God. We also need to respect the different portals that lead to Him, or else we will end up destroying sacred things that has been established by the divine as His covenant with the people that He loved and continues to love in the peripheries. I am saddened to see religions that have flourished in the peripheries for many years, religions that have shined like stars in the night sky as they guide ancient hearts to the divine, completely being annihilated by people who unknowingly impose their religions and outlaws these faiths as sinful and works of darkness. We commit these mistakes because we go to the peripheries believing that we are on a mission to change the world. I would rather we go to the peripheries like the wise men who went to Bethlehem with the hope of encountering the Messiah whom their hearts have longed for. I would rather we go to the peripheries as pilgrims in search of an encounter with the divine. If we go to the peripheries in the hope of encountering God, then maybe we will walk more gently through these foreign lands. Maybe we would be able to take off the sandals of pride and self-entitlement and walk with reverence through the land. For this land is sacred. This land holds the presence of the divine. This land witnesses the personal and intimate experiences of God and the people in the peripheries. The divine brought the people of this land to his loving embrace through the religions he has written in their hearts and in the hearts of their communities. The divine wanted them to experience him and meet him through these unique paths that survived for many years in our absence. We need to hold these sacred paths as sacred. We need to respect these sacred paths. And maybe if we do, we might also encounter God in these unique paths and wonder in the bliss and the marvels that we will encounter along the way. Well, here ends the reflection. I invite you to spend moments of reflection on this area, to look back to your experiences as you work in the peripheries, to try to see and to appreciate the wonderful things that God has created in the lives of these people. Their life, their culture, their experiences and their religions are sacred because this came about because of their day-to-day experiences with the divine. These experiences, these cultures, these religions are sacred. They are like covenants. They are like gems of their experiences with the divine. Hopefully, with this realization, the next time we go to the peripheries, we will be able to walk more gently, to reach out with more respect, to reach out with a sense of wonder, like little children out to discover new things in life. When you go to the peripheries, I would rather we go there not as missionaries. Let us rather go there as pilgrims in search of an encounter with God. Until next time, have a great day and God bless all of you.